Welcome to the Pay Mode edition of the Payments Podcast. I'm Bottomline Managing Editor Owen McDonald. This series of Pay Mode themed podcasts looks at the hottest trends in business payments with Paul McMeekin, Vice President of Marketing at Bottomline, along with expert guests. In this episode, Paul welcomes Jeff Feuerstein, Senior Vice President of Pay Mode Product Management and Market Strategy at Bottomline. They look at making business payments and data more secure while optimizing trading relationships in various verticals. Here's Paul McMeekin and Jeff Feuerstein.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Payments Podcast with myself, Paul McMeekin, and we're continuing our special series on Paymode. And today I'm delighted to have Jeff Feuerstein join me. Jeff, welcome to the podcast, and give yourself a quick introduction.
Yeah, great. I help lead the product management team for the Paymode business. I've been with Bottomline for 4 years and have spent really the last 20 plus years in B2B payments.
All right, so we're going to dive straight into it. What are the major shifts in the business payments landscape, and what has changed in the last 5 years?
Yeah, so it's been just a great ride in the B2B payment space, especially in the U.S., where 20 years ago we were talking about the death of the check and what do we do about paper and how do we fix the riddle of businesses with paper-based processes. And the twist in the last 5 years has been a shift of paper being totally a cost and error-prone way to approach payments to really looking at the full end-to-end spectrum of payments and focusing on how we can improve payments processes because of the risk of fraud and security to the business. Right. So the change is, hey, this isn't just a cost area, but this is a financial risk, a reputational risk, and fraud and security are now really top of mind. So across the business, payments are getting a lot more focus, from organizations. A second thing I'd point to is, again, maybe even 10 years ago, businesses were focused on, certainly maximizing costs, maximizing their approach with their suppliers, and even sometimes they would call them vendors. And the level of partnership and the level of importance of suppliers and what we broadly call like the trading relationships is getting a lot more focus. And one great example we see today is, in the real estate market, and certainly in certain regions, builders are battling for talented contractors. And so delivering payments on time in simple electronic methods where it's easy for their vendors to get paid. It's improving the relationships. It's keeping the contractors on to projects longer. And it's helping both sides of the ecosystem. So that's been great. For the market where, businesses aren't just, looking at their suppliers as a third-party vendor, but looking at them as a supplier and a partner. And then lastly, as we continue the evolution with technology, the importance of integration of technology is really at the forefront for both finance and for the technology teams that we work with. Having tightly woven integrated solutions, embedded solutions, their ERPs, because you want to ensure that there's a really easy to use solution for your employees when you're that company. You want to maximize your investment in your ERP. And so going from not just having a point solution for invoicing or a point solution for AP automation, but weaving these solutions in, embedding these solutions, that's a real priority for organizations.
So that's kind of the last 5 years, a lot of change has been happening. As a product manager, and I'm sure you get tons of requests, how do you balance innovation with the needs of existing customers who may be slightly reluctant to change?
Yeah, well, reluctant to change is, B2B payments in the U.S. in just a few short words, right? So, look, we've got to both be able to innovate for the short term, for the midterm, and really the long term. And, doing that in a balance where our customers are able to, what I'd say, consume those innovations is really critical, right? So, we are constantly as product managers balancing, the sort of the needs of our customers with, the short-term revenue play and the long-term vision. I'd say are our first principles, right? Where are the pain points of the customer that we're trying to solve? Are they real pain points? And let's make sure that what we are building is not, out of our own vision, but it's really informed by customers, what their challenges are, and then how we solve for that might use the most innovative solutions. It might use AI, machine learning, and some sort of tool. But what we need to do is make sure that it's built in a way that our customers can take little pieces, if you will, and not necessarily take a lot of risk when they're working with us.
So leads me to my next question: is the AI hype real? If not now, when is it going to come to fruition?
Well, AI is very real. It is here. It's in practical application at Bottomline, but we're also continuing to invest and learn in new ways to leverage AI. For sure, everything that you're hearing in the media, though, that's speaking to a media guy, is the elimination of knowledge work gone, or is AI and robots taking over? Well, from that perspective, I would say the hype is a bit overblown. Right. And so, it's not eliminating all of the work. And there's a lot of ways where we're still adopting and adapting to the technology. We at Bottomline are strategically advancing our capabilities and really, sort of going back to the earlier point, focusing on the ways that we can make both our customers' lives better, how we're looking at ways to use AI to protect our network, focusing on fraud and security, and we're making our internal business, our internal solutions much more efficient, right? So let's look at payments as just a simple example. We want to ensure that we're as we're thinking about our network, that we're identifying the suppliers and identifying the predictability and the likelihood of those suppliers joining the network. When we think about the invoice to pay process, we want to leverage as much AI as possible to reduce coding and manual work for customers. So using inference and machine learning to read and help code these invoices. And then lastly, we want to use AI to improve the security of the network. So looking at different ways that these transactions are coming in, identifying the data elements on the transaction, identifying the originating and the receiving bank accounts, and deciding whether or not this should be scored with risk or without risk. And so leveraging all of these tools and continuing to invest in them are only going to make our customers' lives and their work easier, as well as protecting all of the participants on the network.
So you mentioned the word network a couple of times there, and very intentionally. And so what role do networks and ecosystems play in B2B payments?
Great question. B2B payments and the networks for B2B payments are really a huge opportunity to improve what is a fragmented and really often broken process with lots of people, systems, and paper involved. Networks enable tighter connectivity for trading partners in this fragmented ecosystem, just because moving data and money is risky, and we want to leverage networks to help validate all of the participants that are participating, right? We want to improve the standards. We want to raise the level of data. We want to improve security. And networks help secure the entire loop, if you will, of everyone that's participating. A well-performing network promotes a flywheel effect where both parties participating enjoy the benefits, enjoy the improved security, enjoy the standardized data, and hopefully enjoy in some ways, faster or at least more predictable payments. The flywheel will feed on itself. Buyers and suppliers will invite each other just like in a sort of LinkedIn or consumer network where, I might invite you and you might invite your friends, right? We want to encourage buyers and suppliers to participate. And so if they're enjoying, again, all the values, security, data, payments, in a way that makes it easy, a buyer will invite a supplier, and a supplier will also encourage their buyers to be participants.
The ultimate flywheel effect, right?
That's the goal, for sure.
If you could give one piece of advice to CFOs, treasurers about the future of payments, what would it be?
Well, in speaking with CFOs and really the finance leaders that are operating what's largely a back office function, my challenge and my ask of them is to always think about payments as more than just a chore, as more than just an activity that we've got to put resources to just to get things done. I want to help businesses think about payments as a strategic area of focus and help businesses create a payment strategy that can be more than just a cost center, but can be a way for them to improve working capital, improve cash flow, and ultimately be an area of their business that shines a light on how to find efficiencies where there otherwise seem to be riddled with costs and pain, right? So, as we think about all of the different ways that payments can be made today, there's more than just, moving from paper to electronic, but it's finding the opportunities where you can monetize payments, finding opportunities where you can ensure safe and secure payments. And so you're leveraging payment networks, really for the reasons that we talked above. Make sure that you're thinking about payments in a way that you're securing your organization from the reputational damage. And so you're thinking about fraud and compliance in all of this, right? So let's first and foremost think about how we can go from maybe a lack of a strategy to a strategy, taking a step in the right direction and modernizing your business.
With that, we'll conclude the episode. So thank you for joining me today, Jeff.
Thank you, Paul. This was great.
Confronting the twin challenges of innovation and legacy issues. Having a balanced view of modernization for optimal customer outcomes. Focusing on first principles around relieving client pain points. And leveraging AI. Those are just a few of the insights from this episode. A big thanks to Bottomline's Jeff Feuerstein and to co-host Paul McMeekin. To our audience, the smartest people in B2B payments, thanks for listening. Hit subscribe. Catch us again on your favorite podcast platforms, including Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. Bye for now.